Hello, 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 world. How is everybody? This is LouiseHicks, your host of Aim to Purpose Spiritual Empowerment Hour. And I'm back. We are going to discuss the presidential debate. So be sure and hit that subscribe button. Subscribe, I'm sorry. I'm going to be doing some describing. So hit the subscribe button and also give it a like, thumbs up, and how about your comments on that presidential, what they call a debate? So I'm going to share with you what my thoughts are, as well as what the world thought of us because they were watching us. And that was a real disaster. So, with that said, again, Louise Hicks here. Be sure and give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and give it a like. And by all means, leave your comments. And I'd like to thank all of my new subscribers, the supporters of this podcast. And as I always tell you, I am the Mad Black Woman, and I'm here to elevate and support our community, the Black community, to a higher level of consciousness. So let's go ahead and we're going to listen to what the world thinks or thought about this presidential debate between former President Donald Trump and the current president, Joe Biden. So let's watch this little clip right quick, and then I'm going to share some thoughts, and it'll be pretty quick, not going to hold you very long in here. So let me go ahead and share. And let's see what they're talking about here. The world is watching us.
The world is reacting to CNN's presidential debate yesterday, which has been described as agonising, at times excruciating. Donald Trump emerged as the winner of the debate, where he was seen more nimble and disciplined compared to 2020. The Democrats are in crisis control, pressure mounting on President Joe Biden to resign after he stumbled and rambled during the 90-minute event.
The morning after the debate before, and the mist hung heavy over Atlanta. It didn't cloud a clear-eyed and cold assessment that chilled the Democratic Party. 90 minutes had been a long watch in politics.
Now, please welcome the 46th President of the United States, Joe Biden.
It was America's big night. The political spectacle with the high stakes.
Donald Trump.
With their history, there was no handshake. There was hostility.
My son was not a loser, was not a sucker. You're the sucker. You're the loser.
Without question, the worst president, the worst presidency in the history of our country.
The debate between two old foes had put the question of infirmity centre stage. From an 81-year-old president, there were contributions that kept it there.
Making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the with the COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if...
Then there was this on a question about immigration.
The total initiative relative to what we can do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look,
it was the look and sound of a headline already written as the debate continued. They talked Donald Trump's recent criminal conviction.
The only person on this stage is a convicted felon is the man I'm looking at right now. You have the morals of an alley cat.
Give you a minute, sir.
I didn't have sex with a porn star. No.
There were questions on world affairs.
And Kim Jong-un and President Xi of China, Kim Jong-un of North Korea, all of these, Putin, they don't respect him. They don't fear him. They have nothing going with this gentleman, and he's going to drive us into World War III.
The TV debate was triggered by Team Biden, designed to showcase strength and offer reassurance about the abilities of a Democratic president. Rather, it has imbued the party with a sense of crisis. Democrats who previously wouldn't listen to questions around infirmity are now openly calling for change at the top of the ticket, concerned at how bad Biden was and how bad he might get. For Democrats, it was a night to defend and deflect, and it wasn't easy.
I'm not going to spend all night with you talking about the last 90 minutes when I've been watching the last 3.5 years of performance.
Joe Biden went for waffles after the TV debate, not before a quick stage appearance with his wife, the First Lady. Not as awkward as the debate itself, but perhaps not far off. As bad a night as it was for the president, the Biden campaign insists he will absolutely not be stepping down, stating that he's the only person to have beaten Donald Trump, and he'll do it again. He hasn't made his own job any easier. James Matthews, Sky News, in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, let's stop. So, what did you all think about this? It was a disaster. Unfortunately, that was not a debate. I don't know what that was, but it was sad. It was comical at times, and it was laughable in one sense. In another sense, it was not laughable because these two old white men, one being, I believe Joe Biden is 81, and former President Trump, I believe, is 78 or 79. And I believe Trump thinks he's Superman, and Joe Biden appeared to be lost in space. So it's saddens, should be sad to all of us that these two men, this is what we have as potential leaders of our country. And if Biden were to be elected, can you imagine what would happen? It's already a disaster under his presidency because all of these migrants are coming over, just taking over the country, doing whatever they want. They're giving them all of this money while citizens are suffering. Particularly, as I said, I am LouiseHicks, your host of Aim to Purpose Spiritual Empowerment Hour, and I've seen it, what's going on here. And I speak as this mad Black woman, motivated and determined to support and elevate my community, the Black community, to a higher level of consciousness. And at this point, the Black community has a lot of issues with economic empowerment. So to see this disaster, it's a disgrace because we need better leadership than what we have existing. Definitely, we don't need the Biden-Harris administration. Once this was over, Democrats are now saying that Biden needs to resign. And if Biden resigns, what does that leave us with? You heard Kamala Harris, or Kamala, however she pronounces her name. And I'm sure they would not want, I know I wouldn't want her to run to be our president. Didn't want Joe Biden because I didn't vote for either Joe or Trump in the last election because I did not see either one of them taking a solid leadership role for this country because this country is totally divided. And as Black people, we have been demanding and talking about reparations for quite some time. And neither one of the presidents is focusing on that debt that is owed. So we need to make sure that we are questioning them about giving away our vote when we get nothing in return. Everyone should get a return upon their investment. And your vote is an investment. And until I hear from either one of these, unless Biden decides to resign, as it appears the Democratic Party is, many of them or some of them are requesting that he resigns, and look who would take office. Kamala. That would not set well with most people. It certainly wouldn't set well with me. So we just have to really, really take a good look at what happened Thursday night. As we mentioned, that was a nightmare. Joe Biden was stumbling, did not get his thoughts together. Trump was acting like he had done all of these things when he was in office, and both of them were lying, and Joe Biden was defending what he has done. And what has he done that's so significant? So they both are liars, and we really need to some deep soul searching, because two, I don't see either one of them taking this country in the right direction because it's so divided. And certainly not Joe Biden, because he is at a point now where it appears he has some serious issues that he is not paying attention to, and somebody needs to talk to him because he is not able to get his thoughts together. He was stumbling all over the place. He could not even articulate at some points in this guess you would call it a disaster rather than a debate. So we really need to think about this election that's coming up in November, because right now Joe Biden is not presidential material from what we saw and what he and Kamala have done over these years. Basically give away a lot of our tax dollars to foreign countries, to these migrants that's coming. And Joe Biden just has an open border. And it's as if they are working to replace the Black people because they're sending them all to the Black community. When you have Black people in their own community and you're not doing anything to empower them, you're giving the tax dollars away to these migrants who are over here wreaking havoc. They're committing crimes. So what are you doing, Joe and Kamala? You're not leaders. You're not leading this country in the right direction. So I don't see you getting any votes from, I know Black people that say they will never, ever give you another vote, the Democratic Party. They're really pulling away from the Democratic Party. And some of them are leaning toward Trump. I mean, I'm not telling anybody who to vote for. You vote for whatever your conscience allow you to vote for. However, my conscience will not allow me to vote for the lesser of two evils, because I'm not going to vote for any evil that I can see what's going on. And we see what's going on. We're very divided. And the leadership in control right now, they are not leading in any direction that's going to benefit the Black community, that's for sure. And that's what we need to be focusing on. We need to be focusing on what we are voting for, what's in it for us as Black people. Stop giving away our vote. And I've said that numerous times, and I will keep saying it. I got out of the Democratic Party when I was in my 30s, and I'm 73 now. And I will not be a party to that particular party. I would not. Because they have been just every 4 years, coming into the Black churches and giving you a bunch of political rhetoric and delivering nothing during their 4 years in office. So we got to really take control of who we're voting for. And look, the world is looking at us and seeing how backward we are in this country and what's going on with the so-called quote unquote leadership. So it's really up to us as voters. And at this point, I don't see anything as a Black woman, mad Black woman, motivated and determined to help support our people to a higher level of consciousness. So until I can see that and see where we're getting a benefit for our vote, I will not be voting. I'm not going to vote for somebody that tells me, as Biden said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't Black, to the Breakfast Club, Charlemagne. And Kamala Harris said she's not going to do anything specifically for Black people, but you can go and do something specifically for Asian people. Black people have been going through it for about 500 years now. And what do we get? What have we gotten for our vote? Giving our votes to the Democrats. And the Congressional Black Caucus, I don't know what you're doing. It appears you're not doing too much of anything. So we just got to stop and think about it prior to November and decide if these people aren't going to give us anything for our vote, a return on our investment, why vote for them? That's my thought, and that's what I think about it, voting. And I have voted years and years and years, but not the last time and not this time, unless I can see where we as Black people will get some benefits from voting, particularly those of us who have voted Democratic all of these years. So with that said, that was not a debate, that was a disaster. And Joe Biden is being pressured to resign. And if he does, I don't know what's going to happen, because Kamala Harris certainly is not going to do, may not do as well as he's done, but I don't see her doing any better. So it's up to you who you're going to vote for. So I just wanted to give my perspective on it, because Trump thinks he's Superman and Biden appears to be lost in space. So what do we have here? What do we have? Please leave your comments, thumbs up, and give it a like. Again, I'm LouiseHicks. Please subscribe. And where do we go from here? Thank you all for all of your support, your love, and continue to stay tuned for more, because I have some more thoughts on some podcasts I'm going to be bringing up pretty soon. With that said, always remember, your power lies within you. Let it loose, because your destiny is your command. So with that said, much love, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you all, and do some soul searching about November. What are you going to do in terms of voting? Because we as Black people, we got to ask for something and demand something for our votes, and that being economic empowerment through reparations. That's a debt that's owed. And thank you all, and I'll see you in the next video.